All right, let's dive into the future of medical research. We're going to look at three really powerful new technologies that are set to completely change how we discover new medicines. Imagine a world where that whole process is not just faster and smarter, but also way more secure. Okay, to really get a sense of the scale we're talking about, just look at this number. As of 2024, there are over 477,000 registered clinical studies going on around the world. Now get this, that number has shot up 16% in just the last 2 years. It just goes to show you how fast medical innovation is picking up steam.
And this quote, well, it really says it all, doesn't it? Every single new treatment, every life-saving drug we have, it all rests on this foundation. Clinical trials are absolutely 100% essential.
But here's the big problem, the central question we have to ask. What if that backbone is actually being held back? What if the very process that's designed to help us is struggling to keep up with the tidal wave of health data we're all generating now? This is the core challenge we're going to unpack.
So the issue is this. All that critical patient data, we're talking electronic health records, pharmacy trips, lab results, the whole shebang. It's all scattered, it's locked up inside different hospitals, different clinics. And look, it's for good reasons, right? Patient privacy laws, institutional rules. But the result is that getting all that data to talk to each other is incredibly slow and difficult. These data silos are a huge bottleneck for research. So how do we fix this? Well, the first solution is all about creating a special kind of key, one that can unlock these data silos without ever compromising a patient's privacy. It's a technology called trial tokenization. Now, what's so cool about this is how simple the idea actually is. The best way to think about it is like a digital coat check ticket. When a patient joins a trial, they get this unique, totally anonymous token. It has zero personal information on it, but it acts like a universal key that lets researchers link their trial data with all their other real-world health data. So here's basically how it works. A patient signs up for a study. A secure, private token gets created, and then that token is used to find and link up with their health records out there in the real world, all done anonymously. And the result? All of a sudden, researchers get this incredibly rich, long-term view of a patient's entire health journey, way beyond what they could ever see in just the trial itself. And hey, this isn't just some idea on a whiteboard. It's already happening. According to data from Datavan, adoption has grown nearly 300% since 2022. Just take a look at the top areas on this chart. It's actually fascinating that psychiatric disorders make up a full quarter of this. That's probably because understanding those complex, long-term patient journeys is so critical in that field. And it's followed by diagnostics, cancer research, and rare diseases, all fields where literally every single data point is priceless. You know, the real power here is something called passive data collection. It means researchers can see how a drug is actually performing years down the line, without asking patients or doctors for extra visits or more paperwork. This lets them build a complete long-term picture of someone's health, and that just transforms how we understand a drug's true safety and effectiveness. Okay, so if tokenization is all about getting better data, our second solution is about making the entire trial process dramatically faster. And this is where AI comes in to totally supercharge the system. So traditionally, setting up a clinical trial is just a mountain of manual work. It's slow, it's expensive, and, humans make mistakes. AI-powered automation completely flips that script. It's fast, it's consistent, and it brings a whole new level of quality and efficiency to the entire process. Let's look at two key ways this is having a huge impact right now. First up, protocol automation. An AI can literally read a complex trial plan, like a PDF document, and then automatically set up all the digital systems needed for the study. That part used to take forever. Second, risk-based validation. Instead of people manually checking every single box, an AI can intelligently test the entire system, saving hundreds of hours while actually improving the quality. So the bottom line with AI is pretty simple. It slashes costs and it cuts down on all that manual labor. And by doing that, it dramatically speeds up the development timelines. And what does that mean? It means getting vital treatments out of the lab and to the patients who need them way faster. Okay, let's move on to our third and maybe most futuristic solution. This one solves a really interesting paradox. How can different hospitals work together on research and analyze their combined data without ever actually sharing their private patient records with each other? Sounds impossible, right? Well, the old way involved something called an honest broker.
Each hospital would have to painstakingly negotiate these data sharing agreements, which could take months, sometimes even years. Then they'd send their sensitive data to some trusted third party, who would combine it all for the researcher. This created a massive bottleneck and, frankly, a huge single point of risk. I mean, if that broker ever got compromised, everything could be exposed. The new way is a complete 180. The patient data never leaves the hospital's secure servers. I'll say that again. It never leaves. Instead of moving the data to the questions, you move the questions to the data. A layer of really advanced cryptography lets researchers analyze all the data sets at once and get a combined result without ever seeing or moving a single individual record. It's incredible. This amazing technology is called Secure Multi-Party Computation, or SMC. And probably the best analogy for it is this. Imagine you and your colleagues want to figure out your average salary, but nobody wants to tell anyone else what they make. SMC is like a magic toolbox that lets you all perfectly calculate that average, while every single person's individual salary remains a complete secret to everyone else. So what this means in the real world is that we can get rid of one of the single biggest barriers to medical research, that agonizingly slow process of getting data sharing agreements signed. This just blows the doors wide open for collaboration on a scale we've never seen before. And that is especially vital for studying rare diseases where you might only have a few patients at dozens of different hospitals all over the country. So we have tokenization for getting deeper data, AI for making things faster, and SMC for secure collaboration. When you start to put all of these pieces together, they point toward a radically new vision for the future of research itself. And that vision is something people are calling continuous trials. So forget the old phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 model. In this new world, patients could get a treatment and then have their health monitored closely for years, maybe even decades, generating this constant flowing stream of real-world evidence. Now, this is a massive shift, and regulators like the FDA are already on board with exploring it. For sure, it's going to require a complete rethink of how we design trials and how we handle patient consent. But here's the most exciting part. The technologies we've just been talking about, tokenization, AI, secure computation, this isn't science fiction. The tools we need to build this future, they exist today. Which really just leaves us with this one final thought. With these tools, we are moving toward a world where we can learn from every single patient's health journey and combine all that knowledge securely and almost instantly. So the real question isn't if we can do this. It's what incredible discoveries are just waiting for us when we do. What could we cure?